Let's get more reaction now on the cut in the energy price cap. Ofgem's energy price cap will fall by 12.3% from the current £1,928 to £1,690. That's from the 1st of April for a typical dual fuel household. That means a saving of around £20 a month or £238 a year on gas and electricity bills. Well, Dale Vince is the founder of the renewable energy provider Ecotricity, and he joins me now. Dale, good news for consumers finally.
Yeah, it is good news, and I think we'll see another drop in the next 2 quarters. Ofgem does this every 3 months, according to future or forward-looking wholesale prices. But then at the back end of the year, we're going to see prices go up again. And the point is that we're absolutely driven here by global prices for fossil fuels. That's what caused the energy crisis, which quadrupled our bills just a year ago and leaves them, even with today's good news, 60% higher than they were before the crisis, because of the way we let the market function. We let it set the price of the gas that we pull out of the North Sea. And for me, that's crazy. Ofgem haven't fixed the fundamental causes at all.
OK, so what's a better solution then to this? Are you saying that the energy price cap itself is not effective?
It's a retail price cap only. And what we haven't done is done anything to control wholesale prices. So the operators in the North Sea were charging a year ago 4 times more than normal than they needed, which is where the windfall profits came from, because of the way the market is structured. We don't control wholesale prices, only retail prices. And at the same time, the price of gas-fired electricity sets the price on the system for all other electricity. And renewable energy is actually cheaper, but we're paying more for it than we need to. Really crazy market, I don't know what you'd call them. This is all about the free market kind of obsession of the Conservative government. And we need to just change that. We can bring our energy bills down considerably and keep them there and stay insulated from the global movements in fossil fuel pricing.
Yeah, but I was about to come to that. Is the wholesale price not global? And then, so who is responsible for that and attempting to drive it down?
No, that's exactly right. The global market sets the price for fossil fuels, and we're just simply subject to that. But it's not driven by fundamentals, the cost of getting it out of the ground. So our North Sea gas, we're paying right now 2 times more for it than we used to, than the operators need. The price of getting it out of the ground hasn't gone up. It's just one of those supply and demand markets driven by fear of security and stuff like that. So we're just paying more than we need to because we allow global markets to tell us what we pay for our gas from the North Sea.
What does this mean then for a company like you, like Ecotricity, which you founded? You produce and sell energy. Does this mean less profit for you?
This is a deep topic, actually. The Ofgem's wholesale price cap, retail price cap itself is a very difficult market mechanism. A year ago, 30 companies went bankrupt, nearly half the market, due to the rapid rise in wholesale prices and the cap on retail. It's a very clumsy instrument. So I think we need something better. But overall, what I want to say is for the country, what we need to get off this helter-skelter or roller coaster of energy bills is to get onto renewable energy. We have enough wind and sun to power the country 20 times over. We can build that here and price it here and keep bills on the floor. In the peak of the crisis, our government spent £78 billion subsidising energy bills. For that sum of money, we could go 100% green completely, make the means to make all of our energy from the wind and the sun, and it will never run out.
How involved in that are you, or could you be then? How much choice do you have in terms of what you're buying?
Well, we're doing the very best we can. Unlike in Scotland, onshore wind was banned by the Tories about 10 years ago. We're building solar projects and battery projects, and I think an incoming Labour government will change that. Within 5 years and with no public money, we can get 100% green electricity on the grid and end this ridiculous situation with our energy bills, which, politicians and Ofgem tend to kind of stand around kind of rubbing their hands saying, oh dear, this is terrible, but it's not really in our control. That's not true. It is in our control. There's so much that we can do. We can just end this farce of roller coaster energy bills.
And yet energy companies are still making profits. You didn't quite answer that question when I asked you whether this would mean less profit for you. But, plenty of energy companies are still making huge profits, aren't they?
Yeah, forgive me. I'm not dodging your question. The situation is very complex, but in essence, Ofgem's price cap allows energy companies to make a 1.5% profit margin. So it doesn't matter where the price is; they're allowed to make 1.5% profit margin. And this is retail energy companies. You may be being confused with wholesalers or the producers like British Gas Upstream at Centrica. BP, they're declaring tens of billions of profit, outrageously excessive profit, which has been the subject of a pretty inadequate windfall tax. And so there are two halves of this market. Retailers allowed to make 1.5%, whatever the price cap. That's it. That's how it works. And then the producers and wholesalers are making runaway profits at the expense of ordinary people.
Would you support a higher windfall tax then?
Absolutely. Because it's not that the level of the tax is wrong, it's right, but the exemptions are crazy. So there's a 90-odd% exemption for reinvesting in fossil fuel production. And so these oil companies aren't paying the meaningful windfall tax. That's the problem, not the level of it, but the implementation of it.
Dale, just finally, you mentioned just early on that rises are predicted later in the year. Why is that? What factors will fuel that?
Well, that's looking ahead at global wholesale prices for fossil fuels. And that's driven by a number of things. Sometimes it's supply and demand. OPEC is a cartel that produces most of the world's oil and gas. They control production to put the price where they want the price. Then you have fear of instability. You have the war in Ukraine, the one in Gaza right now. They spook the speculators of fossil fuels and they drive the price up. All of these things come home to us. We can see that at the back end of the year, the forward curve of pricing is going up, and Ofgem will follow that curve.
OK, well, thank you, Dale, for joining us this morning. Dale Vince there, who is the founder of the renewable energy supplier Ecotricity.